you, Doc! Hi, Doc! How are you?
Hi, Miss Pia. I'm doing good. I'm great.
It's such a great surprise to see you, Doc.
It's nice to see you too.
I have to explain to our listeners kung sino ang ating surprise guest ngayong araw. I'm sure napanood nyo na si Doc on TikTok. Nakita nyo na siya somewhere, somehow. Kilala nyo si Doc Kilimanjaro. Kilimanguru, actually. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Yeah, that's right. Kilimanguru.
Kilimanguru, it's your handle, diba? That's your name.
Yes.
Ganun na ba yung totoong pangalan nyo, Doc? Kilimanjaro, ang totoong pangalan nyo?
Yes, that's right. The real name is Kilimanjaro.
Ah, nice. Doc, what do you want me to call you?
Kili na lang para mas madali.
Pwede rin, Doc Kili. You know, I've seen your videos kasi your videos get shared so often, so many times. Siguro, Doc, kaya ako natatawa kasi parang, syempre, di ba, all your expertise, ganyan. Pero ang pinaka na-share lagi, Doc, it seems to me, kasi yung umaabot sa feed ko, yung mga love advice mo, mga relationship advice.
Yeah, that's the most recent content na I've been releasing. And the reason why I've been releasing about relationship content is because nag-interplay siya with mental health. It seems madami sa atin ang naapektuhan ng mga relationships, and every day it also affects how we work and how we interact with other people outside of our relationships.
Oh, sa bagay, no? Because you always do put a note in the end, like, for example, parang you need your space, don't be in a toxic relationship, yung mga ganyan.
Yeah.
Pero, Doc, what is your actual specialization po ba?
Yes, well, I am a general practitioner.
Ah, so sakop niyo lahat, Doc.
Yeah.
Para ang dami kong pwedeng itanong sa'yo, Doc.
Oh my goodness, I would have to refer you kung special case.
Gano'n ka na ba katagal nagti-TikTok, nagsa-social media?
Yeah, well, for social media in general, I started when I was in fourth year high school. Pero for TikTok, I started in 2020 when I started sharing medical content and fighting medical misinformation.
Inumpisahan niyo ba yun, Doc, right at the start of pandemic?
Yeah, around June of 2020.
Bakit niyo naisipang gawin to, Doc?
Well, around that time, I was doing my internship. My 3 months pa kaming natitira sa internship noon. Pero because of the pandemic, hindi na kami pinapasok. And we had so much free time. And I've been thinking about creating content, like doing it professionally, like doing it every day. Lagi kasi siyang nauudlot noon during med school. Like, pa-isa-isa lang yung mga content na nire-release ko noon. I would release like 1 or 3 videos in a year. So when I was given the free time during the pandemic, I decided to post every single day. And it was actually my sister who suggested na mag-release ako ng content about medical misinformation, because TikTok at that time, yung mga educational content creators lang noon was Coach Laika, and then the other one was the pharmacist Archie. So Archie was already making content about different medications and the common questions about medications, pero wala pang content creator noon that was creating content about common questions about diseases. So I decided to take on that gap during that time.
So did it somehow help you also? Was it sort of a coping mechanism then for you?
Yeah, actually, it was a good coping mechanism. And I really enjoyed it because it's the process of writing a script, filming, and editing. Just to give you a little bit of a background, I was a communication arts graduate. That was my pre-med. Yeah, mass comm ako noon. Kaya there was some sort of like a passion for journalism when I was creating content then about health.
Wow, pwede rin pala ako maging doktor if I wanted.
Yes, you
Pareho
can,
tayo ng
actually.
course.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, Doc, parang medyo malaki yung jump na yon from com arts to med school. How did that happen?
Well, madaming factors no, that was influencing my decision. Pero yung original plan ko kasi was from Com Arts, mag-aaral sana ako sa Cebu Film Institute. However, I was afraid to take the risk. I wasn't sure if I was going to become a successful director or any kind of position in the film industry or entertainment industry. So I decided to just revert back na lang to my childhood dream, I guess, which was to become a doctor. And my mom is also a doctor. Kaya nung tinanong ko siya kung pwede ba na dumiretso ako ng med school, kahit na com arts yung pre-med ko, okay lang naman daw. So for me, I felt like I was going towards the safe decision, yung pagdodoktor, kasi parang good fallback siya in my head. But after med school, parang hinahanap-hanap pa rin ng puso ko yung production and creating videos, writing. Kaya I decided to integrate na lang both my medical degree and communication arts degree. through content creation on social media.
Wow, and that really truly makes you very special, Doc. Imagine those two very different backgrounds. Pinag-merge mo sa isa at nagagamit mo siya ngayon. But grabe yung pagkasabi mo, Doc, na revert back to your childhood dream of medicine. parang ano, no, parang andali lang na you just revert. You said that your mom's a doctor. Do you come from a family of doctors?
No, it's actually just her and then there's me.
Okay. Galing ba sa mom mo yung desire to become a doctor? Yung childhood dream of becoming a doctor? Galing sa kanya?
Well, no, she never really pressured me into becoming a doctor. And growing up din kasi, lagi ko siya sinasamahan sa hospital and pag may conventions in Manila, I would join her. So, kaya siguro na-form siya as a childhood dream because it was the world I was exposed to. And I wasn't exposed to any other world other than the world of becoming a doctor. So she didn't really, wala naman siyang sinabi na, oh, magdo-doctor ka. No, she never really said that. Never naman niyang diniktahan what path I should take.
Okay. How about yung ano naman, yung pagiging filmmaker or the background? Is there anybody in the family na may same hobbies like you?
No one. It was just me. Ako lang talaga yung nagkaroon ng interest doon. And whenever kami ni mom, kasi mahilig kami manood ng mga pelikula, like we would watch movies all day, like yun yung bonding namin. And I've always been curious kung paano yung process, like how they shoot the cinematography, how they do that lighting, how they shoot a certain scene. Like it's always been a curiosity in my head. And after that, parang I did my own research now as a high school student. And pagdating sa mga group projects, I would be the one editing all of the videos. Like if kailangan ng video project, ako na yung nagvo-volunteer agad to edit or maybe even to film the project. And yeah, dun siya na-develop because of the curiosity when it comes to movies.
So may hilig talaga. Kaya pala very natural rin yung videos mo because ikaw rin ang nagsusulat ng script.
Yes, I have to be the one to write the script because I have a certain style when it comes to speaking. And also, kailangan ko rin kasi i-fact check each and every information that I put out there. Kasi like, for example, I would be talking about high blood pressure, diabetes, PCOS, and other common illnesses of Filipinos. And syempre, kung may mali akong nasabi, I mean, that's going to be on me. Kasi syempre, like, nakatali din kasi yung profession ko to the name. And also people trust those who are in the medical profession. Kaya ayoko rin naman na may masabi ako that would bring harm to the patient whenever they would watch my videos.
How long does it take for you to produce one video?
Well, before, when I was starting out it would take me 3 days. Like, hiwalay yung day for writing and the day for shooting and then the day for editing. That was my routine before. Pero nung nasanay na ako and when much of my time na talaga was for content creation, wala na ako ibang ginagawa, I would be able to do it in a day. Like shooting, writing, and editing, I would be able to do it in a day na. Pero this time, I have someone helping me na. I have an assistant helping me with the editing and setting up of the lights and the audio and everything like that. Kaya mas madali na yung work compared to when I was just starting out on my own.
Wow. Ganun talaga, no? Pag lumalaki yung following mo, kailangan mo na talagang full-time focus and attention on the content that you produce. Nasa ilang followers ka na ngayon, Doc?
Well, on Facebook right now, we are at 5.7 million. And on TikTok, same din, 5.7 million.
Wow. Imagine that. 5.7 million followers in just a short span of time. How many years pa lang, Doc? 4 years?
4 years. Yeah.
Wow. Did you think it would become this big?
No, actually, I did want it to become this big, pero I didn't think it would be this big this fast. Kasi health is such a difficult topic to talk about. Madaling mabore kasi ang audience when it comes to science. Kaya I'm really happy na nagre-respond naman ang mga kababayan natin when it comes to health content. And I'm happy na sinishare siya across social media para madami ring ma-correct yung mga misconceptions when it comes to health.
Pero Doc, are you able to sort through yung mga comments like that para alam mo rin kung anong pag-uusapan in your next video?
Yes. That's what we do. That's what my assistant and I do. Like after we post the video, if it does really well, we make sure na na-cover namin lahat ng mga follow-up questions. And if there's like a new topic that people would want us to talk about, we would go through the messages and the comments then. Pag may recurring question doon, we would make content about it. Or trending health topics that's being talked about in the news, yun din yung gagawa namin ng content.
I remember seeing a video, di ba parang may alternate persona ka, yung nagtatanong sa'yo na pasyente or yung average citizen, tapos ikaw ang sasagot. Kaninong idea yon?
Yeah. Well, for that one, yun yung style ko talaga before. I would be doing skits. Before I was a doctor pa, I would create different characters. I would experiment and practice with my editing when I was in com arts pa nun. Because of that, in-interject ko na lang siya with my current content now. And sometimes it makes it easier then to explain the topic pagka may banter with another character.
But wasn't it challenging? Kasi hindi ka naman BS course. Did you have to do catch-up work or extra credit bago ka di ba kailangan mo mag-NMAT, Doc, bago ka makapag-med school?
Yes, kailangan mag-NMAT before med school. And depending on the med school that you're applying in, meron yung iba that they would require you to take up additional science courses para may prepared knowledge ka when you enter med school. Pero for my med school in particular, St. Louis University here in Baguio, School of Medicine did not require me to take any additional courses. Yung NMAT lang talaga, yung nire-require nila.
So parang kumbaga nag-review ka na lang ng science for the NMAT, Doc?
Yeah, well, I should have reviewed for the NMAT. Pero hindi ako nag-review. Like, diretso na lang ako nag-take ng NMAT. And unfortunately, masyadong mababa yung first NMAT ko actually. And I had to take it again para matanggap ako sa School of Medicine sa SLU.
Doc, kailan ka graduate from med? Kasi sabi mo, 2020 was your internship, di ba? So, kailan ka graduate from med?
Yes, I graduated med school 2019.
Wow. Oh, nga pala, no? The internship, baliktad. Hindi pala siya parang ibang course na mag-i-intern ka bago ka graduate. Baliktad pala pag sa med, no?
Yeah, there's two, this is really weird. Sa fourth year kasi ng med school, that's what we call the clerkship. And then after graduation, may isa pang year of postgraduate internship.
Was there a time na full-time nagko-consultation ka? Kasi sabi mo, you've given up the practice. But was there a time that you were practicing full-time?
Yeah, there was a time, siguro like 2 months. Pero kasi when my social media following was growing, also I was signed with an agency then that was helping me get jobs and collaborations with different brands. Kaya hindi ko na rin talaga na i-balance with the medical practice. And syempre, I mean, how would you explain to your boss, di ba, na, oh, sorry, I have to create content for a brand. Para medyo hindi siya common occurrence in the medical community. Kaya I just decided to pause the medical practice altogether para hindi siya in the way and I wouldn't have to explain myself repetitively na lang sa mga boss.
Born and raised ka, Doc, sa Baguio?
Yes, born and raised in Baguio.
Wow! Sarap naman. Parang, di ba, syempre pag taga Manila tapos may kilala kang taga Baguio, parang ang sarap ng nakatira sa Baguio, ganyan.
Yes, the weather is really good. The weather is really good here. Kaya every time when I go to Manila, people would suggest na mag-move na lang ako doon kasi, you know, much of the opportunities are there for content creators and I keep thinking about it like really hard kasi every time I'm in Manila, like ang bilis kong pagpawisan talaga. Like ang hirap mag-adjust na katawan ko. Yeah, it's not good for my skin. Kaya sabi ko, hindi, mag-travel na lang ako pag kailangan. I'll just stay in Baguio. It's better for my skin.
Oo nga, sayang ang skin, Doc. Napakaganda pa naman ng kutis nyo. Pag nakikita ko nga yung video nyo, parang yung ilaw is so bright pero ang kinis-kinis ng kutis mo, Doc.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, hindi ba nasa starstruck sa'yo yung mga patients mo, Doc?
Well, some of them, when I was doing consults pa before.
What was it like for you, Doc, growing up sa Baguio? Ikaw ba yung tipong bata na pagkatapos ng school makikipaglaro sa mga kapitbahay or kailangan diretso pasok sa bahay tapos mag-aaral na?
During my early years, like 1st to 4th grade, after school, ayun, makikipaglaro ako sa mga kapitbahay, you know, my best friends. Pero nung 5th grade all the way to high school, diretso bahay na lang ako. After school, diretso bahay. shy. I was an introvert, really. I was a shy kid. Yeah, I wouldn't hang out that much with people. Growing up in Baguio, I wasn't really able to share yung interest ko with anyone when it came to video editing and cinematography, filmography. Parang wala talaga kaming community noon. Like only recently lang siya naging thing here. Like recently lang siya nagkaroon kami ng mga film competitions. Parang 5, 10 years ago, dun lang dumami yung mga videographers here in Baguio. Dun lang na-peak din yung interest. And I wasn't really able to make friends who shared the same interest when I was in high school. Parang towards the end of my communication arts years na lang siya naging common interest among others in the community.
Oh, you wouldn't think no na an introvert would end up being a TikTok sensation.
Yeah, like I had the really terrible stage fright pa noon. Like nung high school, my English teacher, she wanted me to compete in a declamatory speech. Tapos, nagtago ako sa clinic para hindi ako makapag-participate dun sa competition because I didn't really like speaking in front of a lot of people. Kaya nagpanggap na lang ako na may sakit nun para hindi ako makasali.
At ngayon, I'm sure mag-volunteer ka pa, di ba? At very comfortable ka na in front of the camera.
Yes, well, may anxiety pa rin from time to time, pero definitely much more comfortable. Hindi ko naman na siya ina-avoid since it is part of the work. And also kasi during communication arts, parang kung hindi ka kasi nagsasalita o kung lagi kang mahiyain, it was pretty difficult to get good grades pag hindi ka masyadong madaldal or hindi ka masyadong interactive. Kaya napilitan din ako to develop my social skills. Kasi mahuhuli ka talaga pag hindi ka masyadong nakikipag-interact with other people.
Pero curious ako, Doc. Siyempre, 4 years ka of comm, tapos nag-med school ka pa. Anong mas na-enjoy mo? Yung comm or yung med?
Honestly, in all honesty talaga, mas na-enjoy ko yung comm.
Okay. What was it about med that made it not as enjoyable as comm?
Stay updated with Nelson Canlas,
Nabasted ka na ba?
No.
Oh, ako with confidence ha.
the online source for anything showbiz.
Teka muna Ray ha, meron akong sorpresa sa iyo.
Hello?
Oh, ay!
The latest celebrity news bago pa kumalat para sa ating mga updaters.
7 months mo kinim-kim ito. Bakit ngayon mo lang nailabas?
Aga kong biyak.
Pakitanong po kung
Okay.
ang reason ng breakup ni Carla.
Wow, talagang diretso ha.
Ipagpatuloy mo yung prinsipyo na sa gagawin mo, huwag kang manakit, be fair, and be grateful.
Updated with Nelson Canlas.
Curious ako, Doc. Siyempre, 4 years ka of comm, tapos nag-med school ka pa. Anong mas na-enjoy mo? Yung comm or yung med?
Honestly, in all honesty talaga, mas na-enjoy ko yung comm.
Okay. What was it about med that made it not as enjoyable as comm?
Kasi with comm, may creative expression and hindi siya by the book palagi. Like, yeah, we have set of guidelines na sinusundan, pero, pwede pa natin siya i-twist and make it our own. Pero kasi with med school, you really have to go by the book. Like, each and every word, dapat yun yung alam mo. Pag may mali kang word na naalala, or hindi tama yung pagkaka-review mo, mali yung pagkakaintindi mo, it's going to affect everything. How you see the patient, how you diagnose the patient, and then how you treat the patient. And you just miss one detail in med school, it's going to be game over for you.
I remember, nung high school ako, there was this movie. I forget the title, but it was Julia Roberts. And then, parang a bunch of med students. It was about their life in med school. Tapos parang sabi ko, shucks, napakahirap naman ng med school. And I knew then and there na I wasn't really fit for something like that. Pero I just wanted to ask kung ganun nga ba talaga sa totoong buhay na pag lab, you simulate an operation and then you have to memorize like books this thick. Ganun ba siya talaga, Doc?
Yes, you do have to memorize a lot of things to the point na kailangan mo talaga i-sacrifice yung tulog mo. Hindi rin kasi enough yung isang pasada lang dun sa notes mo and dun sa libro. Like, you really have to read it over and over and over and over again. And at the same time, kailangan inaaral mo din yung mga must-knows. And sometimes hindi mo alam kung ano ba yung must-know dun sa binabasa mo. Like, sa sobrang bulk ng information. Like, naghalo-halo na. And you're not just reviewing one subject You're reviewing other subjects pa na pinagsasabay-sabay yung mga quizzes and then the exams. Kaya minsan parang nagkahalo-halo na yung information. And also, yeah, wala talagang work-life balance when it comes to building your career, your profession in the medical world. Kasi parang nakatali ka na completely talaga to med school and the hospital. Na parang kung nag-stop ka mag-aaral, mahuhuli ka na from the rest. Kasi everybody's staying up, waking up early just to finish the book, and not just the book din, yung notes din, and then sometimes may dagdag pa na research and case study. Kaya, yeah, it's a lot.
Now that you're busy with all this, Doc, what is a day for you like? Pagising ba, shoot agad, sulat agad? Or do you have rest days? What do you like to do pag hindi ka masyadong busy, Doc?
Yeah, well, my usual schedule is from Monday to Friday. Yun yung working days ko. And right now, I'm trying to hit a quota of 15 videos per week. Pero I think that led to me developing the flu. So we've been creating 15 content per week for 2 months. And I don't know, mukhang overwork ata ako. Kaya siguro it took a toll on my immune system. So I always advocate for balance, and mukhang I need to cut down on the videos that I'm releasing per week. And siguro 10 videos per week, okay na yun. Or maybe much less pa. In the morning, I would write 2 scripts, and then in the afternoon, I will write another 2. Tapos I would try to shoot at least 3 videos in a day. My assistant would edit, 3 videos then in a day, Monday to Friday. Yeah.
Ang busy naman ng day nyo, Doc.
A little.
And you shoot everything sa bahay?
Yes, we shoot everything at home.
So at least you get to maximize rin your time kasi wala ka ng travel time na kailangang isipin pa.
Yes, that's true.
O sabi mo, Doc, you advocate for balance. So ano yung pang-balance mo sa TikTok and being a doctor? What is your other thing?
Well, the other things that I do make sure to get adequate rest. So Saturday, Sunday, I make sure not to work at all. I make sure to still be exercising then. So part of my daily routine would be to get at least an hour of exercise 5 days a week. And then on the weekends, I would go on a food trip with my partner or with my friends or my family.
Sarap naman siguro mag-food trip sa Baguio, no?
Oh, yeah.
Ang dami pwedeng puntahan, tapos ang sarap pa ng weather.
Yes, definitely. Right now, actually, very perfect ngayong weather to spend with someone.
Ay! Yung pala yung pang-balance, Doc. Kailangan may someone to balance.
Yes. Socialization.
Socialization is very important, di ba, Doc? You mentioned, Doc, na you like to go out with your friends, with your partner. Kasi, di ba, you give a lot of love advice. Na-apply mo ba yung love advice na yun sa love life mo? Relationship advice sa sarili mong love life?
Yes, definitely. I have to apply. Kasi otherwise, parang napaka-hypocrite ko naman. Hindi ko sinusunod yung mga love advice na binibigay ko. Well, actually, just to give you a little bit of a background din, kung bakit nag-shift ako into adding relationship advice into my content is because I just came out of a 10-year relationship. So my 10-year relationship ended noong December 2023. And then right now, 2024, I'm building a new relationship. And yung 10-year relationship ko na yun kasi it wasn't perfect. I would say naging toxic siya towards the end. And I will admit na may contributions din naman ako sa pagiging toxic ng relationship na yun. And so with my new relationship right now that I'm building, I'm making sure to always hold myself accountable and be self-aware of what went wrong in the previous relationship and also not just keep blaming the other person. So syempre, I mean, it takes two to break something naman kasi, di ba? So I make sure din na yung mga behaviors ko before that were contributing badly to the relationship, I make sure not to be that person in my new relationship now. So yung mga binibigay kong advice actually were based on my personal experiences then. I hope that people in relationships are able to set clear boundaries. Kasi yun yung one of the things that was lacking with me in my previous relationship. Wala siyang boundaries, parang give and give and give na lang to the point na nagiging sacrificial na siya. When you shouldn't sacrifice everything for love. Lagi ka dapat nagtitira ng para sa sarili.
Ay, wow. Alam mo, parang kakaibang level of maturity ang kailangan, di ba, Doc? To admit that you contributed also to a toxic relationship. For anyone to say na may contribution sila sa toxicity, that requires a certain level of maturity. Did you arrive at this on your own, Doc? Or meron ka ring help from outside sources?
Yes, well, definitely my friends. You know, after the breakup noon, I really had to see it in its entirety. And parang yes na nasaktan ako, but at the same time, ano ba yung role that you played kaya ka nasaktan? Hindi pwede naman na, you know, we just keep looking at one side of the story. Parang you really have to take a step back and view the whole picture para makita mo, you know, lahat ng butas. Kasi kung puro ka na lang sa iisang side nakatingin, parang I don't think you would be able to grow as a person. You also have to look at yourself then and see where you were lacking and also the behaviors that you were doing that was hurting your partner din. Kasi I will admit, ako din naman na nasaktan ko din yung partner ko noon, yung ex ko of 10 years. I don't want to be that person for my new partner now. Kasi gusto ko rin naman to build a healthy relationship. Kasi before I thought when you're building a relationship, parang dapat laging happy. So parang because I was focused on like creating a happy environment for the relationship, madaming mga small problems na I decided to just sweep under the rug. Parang di na lang namin pinag-uusapan yung problems just to keep the peace, which was wrong. Parang you have to address the problems immediately. Parang hindi ka dapat natatakot na masaktan or ma-offend yung partner mo. Kasi I think that's one of the problems then when in any relationship actually, not just romantic relationships, even with your family, even with your friends, sometimes we choose not to say things to them just to keep the peace, just to avoid problems and arguments. Pero I've learned that you can still have arguments with the people that you love as long as it is handled with calmness and maturity and that you don't really attack the person. You just express what you feel without disrespecting the person. Kasi we can always have misunderstandings. Hindi naman lagi kasi nag-align din yung mga visions natin with other people kasi we are different people, we are unique from each other. Kaya meron at meron talaga yung mga times na mag-disagree tayo. But we cannot just choose to hide things from the people that we love just because we're afraid to hurt them or just because we want to keep the peace. We should still be honest about what we feel para ma-address natin directly instead of just pretending na there's nothing wrong.
Wow, Doc, para akong nanood ng isang video mo. Kailangan i-replay natin to para people will get kahit just this part of this interview. But I'm curious, Doc, if you come off a 10-year relationship and then you start to build a new relationship, hindi ba mahirap to, you know, rebuild from, kumbaga, you're starting from scratch, di ba, Doc? It's hard to sometimes start all over again. How did you find, I don't know, the ability to trust again, to start again?
Well, yung mindset ko kasi noon, well, I wasn't starting from scratch naman. I'm starting from experience. So,
Ay, nice!
I'm starting from experience. And also, before I started my new relationship now, iniisip ko din kasi na ready ka na ba ulit to open up your heart to someone? Like, healed ka na ba? Yun yung tinatanong ko, healed ka na ba? Parang, is it fair for this new person in your life na papasok ka sa relationship na hindi ka pa fully healed? But then at the same time, inisip ko, sino ba ang tao na fully healed na? Kasi I'm pretty sure each and every individual, we all have our childhood traumas. Madami tayong pinagdadaanan. And I've realized na wala naman talagang perfect person. However, when you enter a new relationship, you have to be very self-aware And you have to be doing the work to heal. So yes, hindi tayo healed lahat. I mean, wala naman talaga magiging perfect person. Wala magiging best version of themselves. Kasi lahat tayo, we all have our baggage. And you don't have to be healed to enter a relationship, but you do have to be healing. Parang you have to take a look at yourself. You have to identify saan ka nagkukulang. And after that, you have to be taking the steps to make sure na you're doing the work to heal from it. And you're not going to let that affect the new relationship. Mahirap siya, definitely. Kasi especially, I mean, that was 10 years din eh. Pero kasi, I look at my 10-year relationship as like a big lesson. Parang yes, there were feelings involved. I invested a lot of time din there. Pero kasi towards the end, like the last 3 years of my relationship in the 10 years, ano na siya eh, it was falling apart. And I will say detached na rin kasi ako towards the end of the relationship. Kaya when we broke up, yes, masakit siya. But at the same time, dahil paulit-ulit na yung pain, it wasn't that difficult to move on. Kasi, you know, there was a lot of pain in the end. And I didn't want to be a victim of my pain. I wanted to grow from the pain. And I wasn't afraid to love again. Kasi, you know what? Loving someone, it's a beautiful thing. You know, it just so happens, siguro may mismatch of energy na lang when it came to investing in the relationship. Kaya siguro hindi nag-work out. So I wasn't really fully traumatized. Parang yes, there was some trauma, pero hindi ako natakot to love again because I still believe na, you know, being in a relationship is a beautiful thing as long as you are building it with the person who aligns with the same values and principles as you.
Wow, so sa lahat ng mga nakikinig sa atin, nakaka-break lang, this is your sign to start loving again.
Yes.
And do not be a victim of your pain. I love that you said that, Doc. Do not be a victim of your pain. And, you know, learn from it and use it, diba? Use it. And what you said,
grow
Doc,
from it.
oo, sabi mo, you're not starting from scratch. Oo nga, no? Kasi you have 10 years worth of experience. So, iba na yung starting level mo, Doc. Nandito ka na.
Yes, exactly.
Ang saya ng love advice. So, Doc, curious ako kung yung partner mo ba ngayon is also in either the medical profession or in the communications profession. Kasi sometimes it takes a certain level of understanding. For someone as busy as you, di ba, Doc? Kailangan may level of understanding.
Well, you know what? One of the, siguro would I consider that a boundary? So may 4 ako na criteria or 3 lang ba? 3 lang ata. Before choosing my life partner. So first, ayoko na ng doktor. I don't want
So yun yung clue
because my
natin
ex was a
yung
doctor.
ex. Okay, so your ex is a doctor. Okay.
My ex was a doctor. And then second, ayoko rin ng same industry. Like, ayoko din ng fellow content creator.
Okay.
Yes. And then number 3, ayoko din ng fan.
Ay, okay.
Yes.
Kasi may mga nagtangka, Doc, na fans.
Yes. yes. And mukhang interested lang sila to get to know Kilimanjaro. Pero hindi si Kilimanjaro.
Oh.
That's it. Yun yung top 3 major criteria.
So ano nga ang industry niya, Doc? Parang ini-imagine ko tuloy ngayon, parang isa pa siyang negosyante. Ano pa bang pwede? Dancer? Alayo, no? Kasi, Doc, ano bang malayo sa pagiging doktor tsaka content creator?
He works at a bank. Yeah, he's in the banking industry.
Finance. Ang saya-saya naman ito, Doc. Wait, baka naman nag-special appearance na ba siya, Doc, in your account? Baka I just haven't seen it.
Well, if you're on Instagram, yeah, you'll see him there.
Okay, not on your TikTok, just on your Instagram.
Yes, on my Instagram.
So, but that's nice, diba, Doc? Pag different fields, ang dami niyong pwedeng pag-usapan.
Yes, exactly. And it's refreshing then to be with someone na completely different world. With my new partner now, he taught me how to appreciate life as it is, you know, the simplicities of life. You know, I'm able to finally be in a place where I feel safe and comfortable.
Oh, that's nice, Doc. And I'm sure so many people will draw inspiration from your story, Doc.
I hope so.
Okay, Doc, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. We know that a lot of things keep you busy right now. But before we let you go, Doc, we prepared a surprise game for you.
Oh, okay.
So it's just mostly debunking health myths. So you'll tell us, Doc, kung ito ba ay based on scientific studies or kung sabi-sabi lang to ng matatanda or ng mga bagets. Okay. So, Doc, pisahan natin with, nako, ito number 1. Ito, dati hindi ako naniniwala dito pero lately kasi parang feeling ko, hindi ko alam kung nangyari to sa akin, pero yung pasma, bawal bang magbasa ng kamay kapag nagpa-plancha?
Bawal ba magbasa ng kamay pag nagpa-plancha? No. Pwede. Pwede naman basahin yung kamay pag nagpa-plancha. Pasma is yung parang pinagpapawisan yung kamay, tama ba?
Parang manginginig ng konti. Oo.
Sige, sabihin na natin na valid yung argument na yun. Pero I think it's coming from the overuse of the hands. Not really yung pagbasa. So whether or not basahin mo yung kamay mo because you've been overworked sa pag-grip mo, sa pagplancha, or sa paglalaba, or sa paglilinis ng bahay, any action na ginagawa mo that involves using your grip or kailangan naka-fist position yung kamay mo, dahil consistent ka or more than 2 hours na ganun yung kamay mo, it will cause pressure sa may wrist and may naiipit na nerve, may naiipit na ugat, kaya nanginginig yung kamay.
It's not necessarily dahil dun sa pagbasa ng kamay. So, pwedeng maghugas na kamay tas magplancha, technically.
Yes.
Okay, Doc, next myth. Lalabo ang iyong mga mata kapag natulog kang basa ang buhok.
Okay, that one, wala din siyang scientific basis at all. Well, you can sleep kahit na basa yung buhok. Although it's discouraged kasi yung pwedeng mangyari dyan is pwede ka mag-develop ng balakubak or dandruff. Kasi yung moisture from the hair, pag nakahiga ka, tapos naiipit yung buhok mo sa may pillow, so pwede siya bahayan ng fungi. So, fungi, bacteria, gustong-gusto kasi nila ng moist areas. So, hanggat maaari, sana dry yung buhok bago ka humiga para maiwasan natin yung build-up of fungi sa anit.
Ito, third, Doc. Pwede bang kumain ng ice cream kapag may sakit? Nag-ice cream ka ba last week, Doc?
Oh no, I did not eat ice cream. Pero pwede ba mag-ice cream pag may sakit? Well, pwede, pero in moderation. Like, well, anything is good as long as it's in moderation naman. Pero kasi you have to assess yourself din. Like for example, pag ubo ka ng ubo, for example, pag malamig kasi yung iniinom, it will make the cough worse. Pero for example, sabihin natin may sore throat ka, wala namang ubo, pero namamaga lang yung lalamunan. Cold beverages or ice cream can actually help reduce the inflammation because of the cold temperature. And also in general kasi pag habang may sakit, it's best to lessen the sugar. Kasi pag sobra yung sugar sa katawan, it can weaken the immune system further and it can delay the recovery. So pwede ka siguro mag-ice cream sa 5th day of illness pag nagre-recover ka na. Huwag naman sa first 2 days kung kailan mataas yung lagnat.
Sa kasagsagan ng ubo, no, Doc?
Ayun.
Eto, Doc, totoo ba to? Kapag ikaw ay blood type O, lagi kang kinakagat ng lamok.
You know, well, there was research done on that. Pero kasi napaka-konti lang ng participants, siguro less than 100. Pero yeah, merong preferences ang mga ibang mga mosquitoes when it comes to the blood type. Pero kailangan pa ng more evidence para masabi nga na they're leaning towards blood type O. Pero kasi Southeast Asians in general, blood type O kasi tayo. And also madami din kasi tayong lamok. So siguro wala kasing choice yung lamok kundi pumunta sa blood type O kasi yun yung majority ng blood type dito sa Philippines.
Wala na pala silang choice.
Oo, wala na silang choice.
Eto, Doc, last na. Masamang matulog kapag busog.
Okay. So this one, yes. Masamang matulog pag busog because pagka nakahiga tayo and puno yung sikmura natin, this can cause yung tinatawag natin na GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease or heartburn na tinatawag nila. Magkakaroon kasi ng upward pressure na tumutulak dun sa may esophagus natin kaya umaakyat yung pagkain tsaka ayaw natin yun. And also pag nakahiga, bumabagal din yung digestion natin which will cause overproduction of acid sa sikmura. And also, pag busog ka kasi na matutulog, mako-compromise yung sleep quality mo. Kasi pag matutulog tayo, yung gusto natin is mababa ang body temperature natin. At saka pag busog kasi tayo, the body is working actively to digest the food. So pagka-active yung katawan, tumataas yung body temperature. And usually kasi pag mataas yung body temperature natin is umiiksi yung deep sleep phase natin sa pagtulog. So pag natutulog tayo, merong light sleep, deep sleep, and pag busog tayo, umiiksi yung deep sleep phase. And that's the important one kasi doon na re-regenerate or nagre-recover yung katawan natin para lumakas yung immune system. Yeah.
Nako, Doc, thank you so much for debunking lots of health myths at for telling us which one yung totoo naman, hindi pala myth. So, bawal matulog na ang busog. Doc, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us. Before we wrap it up, baka you'd like to invite all our listeners to catch you on social media.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast, Miss Pia. Now, for those who want more love advice or who just want to be informed about the proper way to take care of your body when it comes to health, please follow my social media accounts, Dr. Kiliman Guru. So ako lang yung may ganung pangalan on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube as well, and TikTok.
Thank you so much, Doc.
Thank you so much.
This surprise was planned by the team of Ronald Ramido and Aubrey De Los Reyes, edited by Shirley Paghiligan with the amazing people of GMA Integrated News. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Till the next surprise!